Hello, and welcome to the lore of Braunahven. Today we're going to be talking about the island of Smuggler's Cove that is just west off of the Imperial Port. So first I want to apologize. Evidently there was an editing mistake in the book Tacidantilus' Tantalizing Tower that uh, basically swapped east and west on the island. So I apologize for that. I actually just ran across it. But Smuggler's Cove. So Smuggler's Cove is pretty much always been a haven for smugglers and pirates, and the types that are going to try to be bringing in goods and to the Imperial Port or to the Glaucian Empire, for that matter, and bypassing customs in the port. And this was kind of their little um, staging area or where they would store their goods, and it's just a short hop away. The island actually is one of the reasons why the Imperial Port was selected for where it was, because the Imperial Port, of course, makes great use of the Great River that travels across the empire, and it also and then it gives direct access to the Dragon Sea. And so the island functions more as a a natural wave break during stormy weather, which makes crossing the bar much easier when you than it otherwise would be. The Dragon Sea is known for some rather vicious storms. The the island has had a number of um, I guess you could say rulers, um, although that's maybe not the correct term. It is now, though. The island was chosen. So with the Imperial Port, the island was chosen to have a fort built onto it, and Fort Weimar was placed up here. And at that time, shortly after the fort was built, they placed a imperial knight in charge of it. And this knight, Sir Demetrius, was given a legion of troops. And essentially, what their job was is that they would be able to see any invading ships that would be coming from the western side towards the imperial port. There was a lot of fear because the Glaucian Empire was fledgling. It was so new that there was a lot of fear that there would be an attempt to invade and take it over. And that never really happened. Maybe, perhaps they were a little bit egotistical in thinking that the Glaucian Empire was something that anybody would want. Um, the empire, other than from the Stygianians, the empire has never been invaded by other polities. Like Orentis has never invaded, and Erebashi has never invaded. Instead, those polities decided that they wanted to conduct trade, mostly seeing that trade was um, more equitable um, than just ruling the place outright. And so that just never happened. Um, and Sir Demetrius ran the island for quite some time, but then during the era of plague, um, by then it was run by Sir Kellen Riord, and the island of Smuggler's Cove actually fared better than the mainland. They didn't have the infection spread across the island, and Sir Kellen had put into place that he was basically quarantining the island. And so, any ships during the era of plague that would try to come to the island from the eastern side of Smuggler's Cove, they were warned away, and if they continued to advance, he would lob um, flaming buckets onto their ships via the numerous catapults and ballista that sit along the crenellated tops of Fort Weimer. Now, the everybody knows that that can only last for so long. Fort Weimer has a very narrow field of fire through this pass, and the most that they could hope to do would be to be if there was, say, if the Empire decided they wanted to send legions of troops over to Smuggler's Cove, he would be able to slow them down, but it was going to happen one way or the other. There's just no way that they could get all of them. And so this was always in the forethought of their mind, especially after during the era of plague, Emperor Belutian Cestus essentially, after closing the port, told Sir Kellen and his men to return to Glaustein, the capital. They were no longer needed, and Sir Kellen disagreed with that, as did his men, and they boarded their war galley and left for parts unknown in Erebachia, although it is told in tales that they became a much feared mercenary company operating on the eastern shores of that of Erebachia. Today, Fort Weimer is actually controlled by a pirate lord named Valius Garum, and Lord Garum has essentially turned the fort and the entire island back over to its roots and smuggles on smuggling and the selling of pirated goods and pretty much everything that's illegal is here. Um, Valius, unlike Sir Kellen before him, Lord Valius does not have any problem traveling to the Merchants District of the Imperial Port, and he in fact has a very good relationship with the Thieves Guild. The Thieves Guild pretty much loves Smuggler's Cove because the pirates, of course, load goods into their trade and allow the port to continue to make money. Over the last couple of years, Lord Valius and Smuggler's Cove have had a few issues with the cult of the drowned child. Mostly, this is from brine zombies and the occasional draug that comes up from the ocean's depths. And they've had some issues with Gentil commoners trying to come in, but for the most part, they've been able to root them out and stop them before they can take hold. And really, in Lord Valius's mind, it's only a matter of time before one of these commoners isn't detected and takes hold on the island, and so that is a major concern. On the northwestern point of the island, there is a small village that the pirates have set up, and that village is known as Pilotsville. Pilotsville is pretty much run like a pirate ship is, in that everybody that's living there all gets a vote, and pretty much everybody in the town meets in a tavern that they one of these little ramshackle taverns that they've set up, and they discuss the issue, and it is put to a vote. Now, originally, Pilotsville was just kind of its own thing, and today, Lord Valius has actually kind of taken Pilotsville under his yoke. He charges a small tax to the people that want to live there, and pretty much things are pretty good. Under Valius, they've built some docks on the northwestern point for ships to more easily make their way into Pilotsville and onto Smuggler's Cove, and it's become for pirates, it's become a pretty nice little place to live. They don't have to deal with too many issues, especially imperial tax assessors and things of that nature, because they don't come over here at all. The only tax that they have to worry about paying is to Lord Valius, who's essentially their landlord. Aside from Pilotsville, you also have Fort Weimar itself, which is uh, accessible on both sides of the island. The eastern approach is a pretty shallow climb up through a pass that comes to the gates of the fort. But on the western side, and it starts in Pilotsville, there is a 3 foot wide narrow set of stairs that climbs up around the mountain to come to what are the main gates of the castle. Lord Valius has done what I mean. The castle or the keep is old, and so Lord Valius has done what he can to uh, do repairs to the mortar work and whatnot, including the stairs. But really, his focus is on keeping the catapults and ballista in good working order because he knows that those are really the key to him keeping hold of the island. He has to be able to defend it, and those are really his main means of doing that. And so the focus has gone towards keeping those in good repair. So this means that climbing up that staircase can be a little harrowing. It'll make the bravest of men rethink their life decisions because you're climbing up a 3 foot wide staircase carved into the side of a mountain. Sections of it are crumbling. And to make matters worse, of course, it is on the coast. So, stormy weather, you're not going to want to make that climb. Foggy weather can be extremely dangerous. There are sections on these stairs where torches can be placed, and even I mean, with the high winds and whatnot, torches don't last very long. A lot of them will blow themselves out. So in foggy weather or windy weather, it can be very dangerous to climb. Once you get into Fort Weimar, there are a number of buildings that were originally designed to garrison the troops, the legionnaires that were here, and Lord Valius has kind of turned that over to the to his retinue of pirates, his crew, and he's got quite the large crew. In fact, he's got double the amount that he would normally need to captain a ship. And that is because his ship is docked in the Sea Cave port down below, and we'll get to that in a moment. While he wants to leave the other half here to man the fort, make sure that if something does happen, he wants them to be able to defend the fort. And like was stated, he's fully aware that he can only slow down an invasion force, but his plan is that he can slow them down enough that the people in the keep can all get down below to their galley and make their escape. Down below, 200 feet dug into or down through the mountain, there is a spiral staircase that winds its way down, and it leads down to a natural lagoon that is in a cave on the west side of the island. And this cave usually is going to, of course, have Lord Valius's war galleon in here. But if the galleon is off on its, doing a raid or a trade mission or what have you, the cove is able to shelter two smaller vessels, and so there's actually quite a bit of traffic that is available down in the Sea Cave port, including there's a small brothel, there's an officers' club, which they call it an officers' club. It's essentially just a tavern that is well stocked with some of the better rum and spirits that Valius's crew comes across or trades for the with the Merchants Guild over in the Imperial Port. And so pretty much this is where he docks his ship, and he keeps that as his right to keep the his vessel docked here, being lord of the island more or less. Now, the island is actually fairly self-sufficient, and there is on both sides there is a pass that goes through the middle of the island called Frisia's Valley, and it's called Frisia's Valley because of the natural stone walls of the pass kind of creates an air tunnel that comes through, and it can be very windy, and so it is dedicated to the goddess Frisia, the goddess of elemental air, and so that's where it got its name. And there are plentiful creatures living here: deer, boar, rabbit, pheasants. They seem to all thrive here. And there is a rumor that there is a hidden cave somewhere on in Frisia's valley that leads to a treasure of incalculable wealth. Nobody knows if it's true. In fact, most of the older patrons in Pilotsville think it's just a pirate's tale, and so they tend to just focus on telling that story to the newbies that come to the island, and send them off on a wild goose chase. So far, nobody has actually found the hidden cave, and most people believe that it doesn't really actually exist. So that is Smuggler's Cove, and we will pick up with some more tales and lures of Braunahven next time. Thank you for watching.